Om. 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 गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं चैव ततो जयमुदीरये। क्षम्यतां, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. I'll just share the screen. Give me 2 minutes. So I will just read the last 1 or 2 verses. Adveshta sarvabhutana maitrah karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukha kshami santushta satatam yogi यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्ष शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारम्भ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः. So yesterday we had seen the one who is a jnani. For him, he is not having any raga dvesha for anybody or anything in the creation. He is not harming the creation, or he is not a cause of any kind of fear for the creation, and neither for himself. So about the jnani, he said he is a satatam yogi also, and he is free from the exultation, intolerance, fear, and pain. So I think I'll just read this, the last paragraph. I hope, Brahmaraji, that is fine, and then we will go to the new verse. Yeah. So the Jnani is free from exultation, intolerance, fear, and pain. Further, he says, Harsha, Amarsha, Bhaya, Udvegaihi, Muktah Yah. The one who is free from elation, intolerance, fear and anxiety. Sacha me priyaha. He is beloved to me. Harsha is the state of mind that ensues when you achieve something you had wanted very much. There is an exultation, which Shankara says is indicated by horripilation and shedding tears. When you reach such an extreme of joyous emotion, its opposite is not going to be far away. Amersha is an intolerance which is often rooted in jealousy. If someone is able to do something well or is happy, and your appreciation of that invokes pain in you, you are suffering from jealousy, matsarya. Amersha can also express as asuya, overlooking a person's virtues and finding fault. When someone has a good quality, why not enjoy it? Someone who has asuya will disregard the virtues and try to discover the person's faults. And everyone has faults. Matsarya and asuya are together called amarsha. When things do not go as you would like them to, and you find you cannot tolerate yourself or the world that you feel has deceived you, that is amarsha. The Gnani, however, recognizes any accomplishment as his own glory. With his knowledge, he can say, along with Krishna, I was Manu, I am Indra. There is nothing separate from me, and therefore, anyone's glory is my own glory. Ishvara, to whom all glories belong, is non-separate from Brahman, which is non-separate from Atma. Therefore, any vibhuti anywhere is your own. Since Ishvara's glory is infinite, with this knowledge, you can keep on discovering his glories. They are non-separate from yourself. And this is why there is no amarsha, jealousy, or intolerance. He is also free from fear, bhaya. At the level of the jiva, who is a karma yogi, he trusts in the order, which is Ishvara, and therefore conducts his life free from fear. The more you are aware of Ishvara's role in your life, the more you find you are able to relax. You can let go of all that happened in the past and of all that may happen in the future, and just do what is to be done without concern for what others think. This is a unique attitude which comes of prayer. The more you recognize Ishvara, the less fear you have relatively. Absolute freedom from fear is only possible with the knowledge that there is no second thing, because fear is only generated by a second reality equivalent to myself. Even if I am Param Brahma, if there is another Param Brahma, there will be fear, because then there is the possibility of isolation, division, and separation. Fear of being overpowered, cheated, and so on exists only when there is a second thing. Even God becomes a source of fear as a punisher. The very one who is a source of fearlessness, Abhaya, becomes the cause for fear if you see him as a second thing. If you see him as yourself, there is no source of fear, because there is no other source. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said that the wind blows, the sun rises, Agni and Indra, and even Lord Death do their jobs because of fear. Bhishasmat, Bhishasmat, Vatah Pavate, Bhishaudeti Suryah, Bhishasmat, Agnihi cha Indra cha Mrityu Dhavati Panchama iti.
Bhishasmadvatah pavate Bhishodeti suryah Bhishasmadagnischendrasya Mrityurdhavati panchama iti.
Shamyatam. Dhanyavad. All the phenomenal forces behave as they do because of some mandate. The idea is individuals do things out of fear, fear of being punished, fear of being ridiculed or rejected, fear of losing, and finally, fear of other. Elsewhere, it is said, the one who sees a seeming multiplicity goes from death to death. Mrityoh mrityum apnoti ya iha nana eva pashyati. But for the one who sees the truth, anyway he looks at it, there is only one thing. From the standpoint of the self, there is no second thing because everything has its being in the self. And if he looks at it as a whole, the whole cannot be many because infinity can have no parts. Thus, fear does not exist for the one who has this non-dual vision. Pain, udvega, of course, is not possible because Atma is Asanga. And further, being Ananda, pain is not possible. The one who is free from all this, Harsha, Amarsha, Bhaya, Udvegaihi, Muktaha is Priyaha, beloved to me, meaning identical with me. So beautifully. Yeah.
Belaji, can you read the earlier page, please?
Yeah.
They do this like Agni and all, they do out of fear, something like that. It was there.
Yeah. Just a minute. Okay. The further previous paragraph, right? Okay.
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
previous one.
Yeah. He is also free from fear, bhaya. At the level of the jiva, who is a karma yogi, he trusts in the order which is Ishvara and therefore conducts his life free from fear. The more you are aware of Ishvara's role in your life, the more you find you are able to relax. You can let go of all that happened in the past and of all that may happen in the future and just do what is to be done without concern for what others think. This is a unique attitude which comes of prayer. The more you recognize Ishvara, the less fear you have relatively. Absolute freedom from fear is only possible with the knowledge that there is no second thing, because fear is only generated by a second reality equivalent to myself. Even if I am Param Brahma, if there is another Param Brahma, there will be fear because then there is the possibility of isolation, division, and separation. Fear of being overpowered, cheated, and so on exists only when there is a second thing. Even God becomes a source of fear as a punisher. The very one who is a source of fearlessness, Abhaya, becomes the cause for fear if you see him as a second thing. If you see him as yourself, there is no source of fear because there is no other source. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said that the wind blows, the sun rises, Agni and Indra, and even Lord Death do their jobs because of fear.
This is where sorry, this is where I wanted some clarification. Because they do it
Yeah.
out of fear. This is what is being said here.
Yes, yes. Panchatattva, all of them, they do their jobs out of fear. That is what is being said in Taittiriya Upanishad. Uh, Brahmaraj, I will just read this line. Bhishasmat vatah pavate bhishodeti suryah bhishasmat agnihischa indrascha mrityu dhavati panchama iti. Brahmaraji, kindly correct me if I have pronounced wrong. All the phenomenal forces behave as they do because of some mandate. The idea is individuals do things out of fear, out of fear, fear of being punished, fear of being ridiculed or rejected, fear of losing, and finally, fear of others. I think Brahmaraji can explain it very well. This, as per my little understanding, all these things are, the elements are behaving as they do out of the, it is like a mandate. They are given that responsibility and they have to do. Brahmaraji, could you please explain?
We can do that in Manana if she may not be
Okay.
available.
Yeah. Here Swamiji is explaining because as an individual, when we have objectified Ishvara as other, for us, it is like we must have that Advaita Bhavana. There is no other, so that we can not have that fear. When do we have jealousy and fear? When we see somebody or something in creation other than our own self. But when everything around you is manifestation of your own self only, then you do not have fear from anybody around you. Neither they have fear from us. That is what here Swamiji has explained. And with the prayer that Abhaya can come, for Gnani, that is a kind of, that is their, they are one with Ishvara. But for us, like Mumukshu and Bhakta and Jignasu, it is our sadhana to reach that level where we see no other, where we do not objectify anybody around us in the creation as other. Yeah, but you had a very basic question. Why for the Agni, Vayu and Surya it is mentioned out of fear? I think Brahmaraji can explain much better because Pancha...
Bella, can you repeat that paragraph that where the Taittiriya Upanishad quote is given? Sorry,
Yeah.
we're going up and back again.
Yeah, no problem. The very one who is the source of fearlessness, Abhaya, becomes the cause for fear if you see him as a second thing. If you see him as yourself, there is no source of fear because there is no other source. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said that the wind blows, the sun rises, Agni and Indra, and even Lord Death do their jobs because of fear. Bhishasma vatah pavate bhishodeti surya bhishasmat agnihisha indrasya mru dhavati panchama iti. All the phenomenal forces behave as they do because of mandate. The idea is individuals do things out of fear, fear of being punished, fear of being ridiculed or dejected, fear of losing, and finally, fear of other. Elsewhere, it is said, the one who sees a seeming multiplicity goes from death to death. Mrityum apnoti iha na eva pashyati. But for the one who sees the truth, any way he looks at it, there is only one thing. From the standpoint of the self, there is no second thing, because everything has its being in the self. And if he looks at it as a whole, the whole cannot be many, because infinity can have no parts. Thus, fear does not exist for the one who has this non-dual vision. Pain, udvega, of course, is not possible because Atma is Asanga, and further, being Ananda, pain is not possible. The one who is free from all this, Harsha, Amarsha, Bhaya, Udvegaihi, Muktaha, is Priyaha, beloved to me, meaning identical with me.
I think from my little understanding, when the other is there, that is where that little fear comes. Only when there's that separation. And when creation happens, when all the Pancha Mahabhutas are created, they move around, they do their little job, their job as a mandate. And that is because of fear. Why does the sun shine? Why is the sun hot? Why is water cool? All this is because of that little fear. So similarly, we also, dharmic people, why do we live a dharmic life? Because we know if we do not live a dharmic life, we know the consequences. So if you look at that from that perspective, everything in creation is going on because of this little element of fear. And as a contrast, what is being mentioned here is that of a jnani. For a jnani, there is no fear because he does not see the other. He is in the space of Advaita. So when you're in that space of Advaita, there is no fear. As long as there is Dvaita, there is fear. And creation is all but there are two in creation. So when you look at that from that angle, there is that little bit of fear. And like how Gurudev says, we need to have fear as much as there is salt in food. Unless there is that little fear, you won't even be able to take care of your body. But then we extend this fear into too much. When it becomes too much, then we live our life out of being ridiculed, about being rejected. All that happens. So it is up to us, if you have fear in that little measure, then that will keep us on the right track. I think that's my understanding. Maybe anyone else can also share. And probably we can put this down as one of our clarifications when we have Nana session.
Thank you.
Here, what must be the Udvega is referred for? Harsha, Amarsha, Bhaya, and Udvega.
I think Udvega is out of, like, you feel the other person. There will be always that competitiveness, jealousy, and then there will be Udvega in our mind, right?
Udvega is pain. Of course, is this line related? Pain, Udvega.
Yeah, that is, I think, yes, the state of mind, correct.
All this comes only because of the other. The other creates bhaya. And because of that also comes fear, comes pain. It's a byproduct of the Dvaita Bhavana.
Dvaita Bhavana.
Because if you're alone, who can pain you? Who can give you pain? You are the only one. You're absolute. You're infinite. So then there's no other. There is no fear. There is no pain. There is no fear of being ridiculed, no fear of being... Just imagine you're the only one encompassing the whole. Who can do what? Isn't it? So the moment that other comes in, then everything starts, everything happens.
Correct.
So
Thank you.
the idea is for us to go back to our original state, which is Advaita.
I have a question. The devas, how do you place them? Like, there are stories about Indra feeling disturbed. Okay, Gautam Buddha was in deep meditation, that he'd become more powerful than him also. And that was one story that we come across when he sat finally below the Bodhi tree and was liberated. The second was when Indra, uh, in a fit of rage, made it rain so much, and then Krishna saved everybody by lifting the Govardhan Parvat and told everybody to put their lathi beneath it. So this kind of negative qualities in devatas, are they supposed to be full of knowledge, and yet I couldn't place this.
No, devas
Mm.
also go through base emotions. They are not, deva doesn't mean they are um, enlightened beings. No, that is why Indra also he had to run for his throne all the time. He had to run here and there for help. So deva, the word deva only means those beings who live in that space, but it does not mean they are free from these emotions. No, that's
Now
my
here,
understanding.
yeah. Now it explain. I mean, after this so much of discussion, I slowly started realizing, because Indra is Varuna, right? Varun Dev, and then Sun is Agni Devata. So even they are part of Maya. So they too have a mind. I was just thinking, where does the fear, you feel the fear? It's in mind. How can Agni feel that? Does he have a mind and that kind of thing? But if you think them as a devatas, the energies, and those are created in Maya itself. So I think that explains. And
Yes.
maybe it is as though, I thought it might have been as though out of fear they do these duties. But it explains they are part of Maya and they must be having all this. Because we have seen Indra is so jealous all the time. So if you see them as devatas, the energies created in Maya, you can understand this. Yeah.
May I?
Not sure if this is relevant, but it is like the merry-go-round. I think we learned about this in the previous chapters, where the person who runs the merry-go-round is not visible, but it is because of him, because of his control, that the rest of the whole merry-go-round moves. What we see is, it may not be really relevant, but that is how the whole creation is. We don't see the creator. We only see the manifestation. We see the other. We see the multiplicity. Whereas for a jnani, he is the creator. He is none other than the creator. He identifies himself with that. So for him, what he sees is just a reflection of himself. He's only a witness to all that is happening. So therefore, he is fearless. He is free from udvega. He is free from bhaya.
Dr. Dhana, maybe you should keep this question for Nana because it's not really clear. Most of the gods get angry so fast. If you read the Hindu Rat Kathas and even Shiv Puran, Siddhi also gets angry at the drop of a hat and does the Havan of Parvati's father, destroys it. So all the gods, why are they so full of anger? You know, when you read Puranamasi Katha, every chapter God gets angry. So I don't know. I mean, all
No,
this
our concept of God is that what? I think what Nana says is, of course, please, if one of you can just jot down this question, please jot it down. Otherwise, it'll move out of our memory and we'll miss asking this question. So, when it comes to Puranas, they are only depictions. So, between Puranas and Shastra, Shastra, of course, has the upper hand. So, you look at the Shastra as the ultimate source of knowledge. That is number one. Puranas are only means of weaved stories that bring the ultimate truth, reality to the common man. And there can be differences from one Purana to the other. There can be a little difference in the way each one is projected, like Shiva, Vishnu, all of them projected. But ultimately, coming down to brass reality, even gods are created, so to say. They are not, they represent the divinity, but they are also part of creation. The Rig Veda, the Nasadiya Sukta, very beautifully brings out this truth that even the gods came out after the creation. So, who knows, or who does, or maybe he does not know. So, what we're talking of is that Advaita Bhav, that Advaita which is beyond two. So, that is. It is all our concepts, no? That God should not get angry.
But it is said, no, that this 33 Vedic devas are in Swarglok. So Vedic devas and Puranas, I don't know, somehow.
Yeah, I think we need more clarity in this. So best is like what Dr. Renu said. We'll put this down. Dr. Renu, can you please jot down this question if you can?
yes, I will put it in the
Thank you.
group.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think we can also put down that this Vedic devas are in Swarglok. So when we talk only of Puranas, that they may magnify and just for illustration. But Swarglok clearly mentioned that the 33 Vedic devas stay there. They stay in that realm. So maybe even that clarity we can obtain from Nanaji.
Yeah.
Because all these lokas again are part of Maya.
Exactly. I was just coming to that. So all of them are nothing but mithya. So what we are gaining, what we are pursuing here is that satya, which is beyond this mithya.
And they are satya in this mithya.
Which is the skill that we have to learn while living in this mithya loka, rooted in the satya. You still have to function. You will not eat the table. You will eat only the food that is on the table. So both are mithya. The table is mithya. The food on the table is mithya. You cannot function from the absolute saying, oh, for me, everything is mithya. So what does it matter if I eat mud or I eat food? No, but that skill is to know the difference in the practical world while rooted in the Satya, which is what Krishna personifies. He has his one foot firmly on the floor, the other foot, only the toes are touching the floor. So live lightly in this world, rooted in the Satya. Satya, that there is no other. That feeling that there is no other, when you are stuck with a situation where you have the fear of being ridiculed or fear of being judged, that will be relieving. That will be liberating. So I think you'll have to balance this out, and that is the skill.
Gurudev had said that Siddhas are at a higher level than even the Devas. So at that time, I didn't understand that. There was a little bit of, maybe their knowledge base is more.
It could be, yeah. In fact, the rules that apply, what Gurudev said, rules that apply to Siddhas do not apply to normal human beings. I mean, you cannot do the same things as a Siddha does, for instance, because the rules and the laws, so to say, are different for a Siddha. A Siddha might just be able to subsist on just water or just sleep or no sleep at all. But you cannot say, oh, he's doing that, so let me also do this. Because what level we are at, the energy level we have, is so different from the exalted energy level that they're high voltage, so to say. They're very close to the source, or they are the source. Whereas we're all work in progress. But it's good. See, this is the reason why we need Manana, no? Where all this doubts and this clarification comes up. When you go back to what a jnani is what is that thing called? He is he's determined. His knowledge is so well founded. What is the Sanskrit term?
Dridha
Nishchaya. Thank you, Bela. Dridha Nishchaya. He does not have any doubt as to the nature of the Atma, or what the whole thing is about. So our journey is to get to that Dridha Nishchaya. And for that, when, of course, these doubts crop up, it is very important for us to express them so we get that inner clarity. So then when we sit for Nididhyasana, these doubts don't crop up, which is why number one is Shravana. We listen to it, listen to the Shastra. Then do Manana is what we're doing. And then when all these doubts get dispersed, they are all dissipated. When you sit for Nididhyasana, all those pratibandhakas, all those obstacles are gone because the doubts are cleared. Then you'll be able to reflect and reminisce about the truth.
Dr. Dhada, I have posted in the group. If I had not, if I forgotten anything, anyone can add.
Yeah. And anybody else also who had these doubts, please mention your specific doubts there. So then they are clarified. Okay. That'll be good.
And you can write the page number also.
Yeah. Write the page number also of this. That'll be good. Yeah. I think Bella, you can continue.
Beautiful, Manana. Wonderful. Okay. Dhanyavad, Dr. Renu, for putting the question. Okay. अनपेक्ष शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यतः आरंभ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः मे प्रियः. Anapekshah, the one who has no dependence. Shuchihi, the one who is clean. Dakshaha, the one who is able. Asinaha, the one who is neutral. Gatavyathaha, the one from whom fear has gone. Sarvarambha Parityagi, the one who has completely given up all initiation of actions. Yah mad bhaktaha, the one who is my devotee, saha me priyaha, he is beloved to me. Anapekshaha, shuchihi, dakshaha, udasinaha, gatavyathaha, sarvarambha parityagi, yah mad bhaktaha, saha me priyaha. The one who has no dependence is clean, is able and neutral. Kshamyatam, if somebody is by mistake unmuted, kindly mute. The one, I repeat, the one who has no dependence is clean, is able and neutral, from whom fear has gone, who has completely given up all initiations of actions, and who is my devotee is beloved to me. He is not dependent on anything. Anapekshaha, Shankara says, is someone who does not depend upon the relationship between the physical body, sense organs, and sense objects for his sense of well-being. I repeat, Anapekshaha, Shankara says, is someone who does not depend upon the relationship between the physical body, sense organs, and sense objects for his sense of well-being. He knows he is self-existent, not dependent upon any other factor, and does not suffer from the delusion that he is only alive if the body is alive. The prana, which keeps the body alive, is dependent upon him, and moreover, Atma does not breathe. Since only something that breathes will die, he is always alive. Atma is pure existence, Satya Vastu, and therefore does not depend upon prana, manasa, buddhi, or anything else for its existence. I repeat, this is very, very important. Please pay attention. He is not dependent on anything. Anapekshaha, Shankara says, is someone who does not depend upon the relationship between the physical body, sense organs, and sense objects for his sense of well-being. He knows he is self-existent, not dependent upon any other factor, and does not suffer from the delusion that he is only alive if the body is alive. The prana, which keeps the body alive, is dependent upon him. And moreover, Atma does not breathe. Since only something that breathes will die, he is always alive. Atma is pure existence, Satyavastu, and therefore does not depend upon prana, manas, buddhi, or anything else for its existence. Further, all things depend upon Atma for their coming to light. But Atma is self-evident, not depending upon anything for the establishment of its existence. In order to be full and free from any sense of imperfection, Atma depends upon nothing, because it is the content of any experienced happiness. Sorry. Therefore, one who knows this is anapeksha, free from dependence in every way. I repeat the last line. In order to be full and free from any sense of imperfection, Atma depends upon nothing, because it is the content of any experienced happiness. Therefore, one knows this is anapeksha, free from dependence in every way. Concerns about externals, such as where will I live, do not exist for the one who knows himself, because he knows that everything is located in Atma, which is the Adhisthana, the basis of the entire Jagat. This is not merely verbal. He sees that it happens to be the nature of Atma and thus has no dependence at all upon situations. So he is anapeksha. He is not dependent upon any situation, anybody. He is akhanda, he is purna, just like the Ishvara. That is why Jnani is beloved Ishvara, because he is him. His happiness is never dependent upon anything, but he knows that he is self-evident. He is a Shuchi. He is a Shuchi. So, Anapeksha, now Shuchi. Please remember for Manana these words. Shuchihi, the one who is endowed with Shaucha, cleanliness, both outer and inner. Outer cleanliness, Bahya Shaucha, begins with your physical body and extends to your clothes, the place where you live, and the environment in general. Inner cleanliness, Antar Shaucha, is accomplished by various means. One of them is Pratipaksha Bhavana, deliberately bringing in a disposition that is the opposite of a negative one. By deliberately cultivating a positive disposition towards a given person, your hatred, anger, jealousy, and so on are neutralized. These do not exist in the natural expression of a wise man who is absolutely harmless. I repeat, he is a Shuchi, Shauchihi, the one who is endowed with Shaucha, cleanliness, both outer and inner. Outer cleanliness, Bahya Shaucha, begins with your physical body and extends to your clothes, the place where you live, and the environment in general. Please remember how important the environment is also there as a part, which Persiji always reminds us. Inner cleanliness, Antar Shaucha, is accomplished by various means. One of them is Pratipaksha Bhavana, deliberately bringing in a disposition that is the opposite of a negative one. By deliberately cultivating a positive disposition towards a given person, your hatred, anger, jealousy, and so on are neutralized. These do not exist in the natural expression of a wise man who is absolutely harmless. So beautiful. So he having cleanliness, inner as well as outer. He doesn't pollute the outer environment also, and he keeps the inner environment of his own mind also clean. He doesn't have raga, dvesha. That is why he is from internally also he is very clean. He is a daksha. Dakshaha here means one who is capable of understanding things as they are. I repeat, Dakshaha here means one who is capable of understanding things as they are. Relatively, he can quickly assess a situation and do what is to be done. The action called for in a given situation depends entirely upon your estimation of it, which, if it is to be objective, cannot be prejudiced by your anxieties and fears. A wise man is a daksha because he can give a dispassionate consideration to any situation. He is also daksha in the absolute sense because he knows the cause as cause and all the effects as mere name and form, nama rupa, which are mithya. For him, they have only an empirical existence which has no impact on him because it does not challenge him as another reality. He knows that all of them are himself, that nothing at all is separate from him because the seeming difference of subject object is entirely sublated, badhita. Even though the inquiry begins with subject object, later we negate the reality of this division. The difference is only an apparent one, since there is no reality in the situation except I. So Daksha can also be one who is identical with Ishvara in that he understands the essential identity between himself and the Lord. I repeat once again, he is a Daksha. Dakshaha here means one who is capable of understanding things as they are. Relatively, he can quickly assess a situation and do what is to be done. The action called for in a given situation depends entirely upon your estimation of it, which, if it is to be objective, cannot be prejudiced by your anxieties and fears. A wise man is a daksha because he can give a dispassionate consideration to any situation. He is also daksha in the absolute sense because he knows the cause as cause and all the effects as mere name and form, nama, rupa, which are mithya. For him, they have only an empirical existence, which has no impact on him because it does not challenge him as another reality. He knows that all of them are himself, that nothing at all is separate from him because the seeming difference of subject object is entirely sublated, badhita. Even though the inquiry begins with subject object, later we negate the reality of this division. The difference is only an apparent one, since there is no reality in the situation except I. So, Daksha can also be one who is identical with Ishvara in that he understands the essential identity between himself and the Lord. One of the names for the Lord is Daksha, the one who is capable of creation, sustenance, and withdrawal. Shrishti, Sthiti, Samhara, Samartha. Or Daksha is the one who has expertise in Vedic knowledge, the Puranas and Itihasas. Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Itihasadishu, Dakshaha. A number of meanings are given for Dakshaha, a very beautiful word. So the synonyms are also given. I repeat once again those synonyms. Please remember, very beautiful they are. One of the names for the Lord is Daksha, the one who is capable of creation, sustenance, and withdrawal. Shrishti, Sthiti, Samhara, Samartha. Or Daksha is the one who has expertise in Vedic knowledge, the Puranas and Itihasas, Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Itihasadishu, Dakshaha. A number of meanings are given for Dakshaha, a very beautiful word. He does not take sides. After few minutes, I think after 1 or 2 minutes, I request someone to take over. Kindly help me in reading. I can continue sharing the screen. He does not take sides.
I can do.
Yeah, Sumaji, are you there?
Yeah, I'm back. I can read.
Oh, so wonderful. Welcome back. Dhanyavad, Sumaji. Kindly, could you please take over, Sumaji, from here? Or if you wish to repeat the previous, if someone wants, kindly help them to read also. You can read from. He does not take sides.
He does not take sides. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Yeah.
Okay. Udasiya, Udasinaha is one who does not take sides with a friend, mitra, or an enemy, shatru. Any issue is relative, whether it is with reference to an economic system, a political system, a lifestyle, or any discipline. All of them have their advantages and disadvantages depending upon how you look at them. Therefore, it is not wise to take a stand on relative issues, and a wise person, though he can give cogent arguments for either side, is neither on one side or the other. He is udasinaha. As a sadhana for Vedanta, this is very important because Vedanta can only be understood by a mind that does not move in extremes. We are interested in realities, and for that, the mind must be very dispassionate. If you take a side on an issue, the other side is obscured from your view. But if you are in between, you can see both. Therefore, only a person who is dispassionate enjoys objectivity, a very important factor in understanding reality. There is always an element of truth in any position. One who is udasina sees this and is therefore highly dispassionate on relative issues. He has no afflictions. Gatavyataha.
Gatavya.
Gatavyataha is the one for whom fear or affliction of any sort is gone. Using the word gata, gone, Bhagavan indicates that fear was once there. In the wake of knowledge, it is gone. Fear, as we saw, comes from separateness. So the karma yogi cannot be called a gatavyata. He can be only relatively free from fears, whereas a gatavyata is free from any type of fear, including the fear of death, which is possible only in the wake of knowledge. He has no need to begin any activity. Sarvaramba parityagi is another important word. Aramba here is what is planned and initiated. All karmas are arambas in that they begin because of a sankalpa. Shankara, writing the Bhashya, began at some point, and even Krishna began teaching Arjuna. No one is without Aramba, because for which is Kama, desire. No one is without Aramba, the cause for which is Kama, desire. Various karmas, whether Vaidika, Samartha, or Laukika, are done to produce results here and in the hereafter. A karma yogi also performs these karmas, and though he does them for the sake of moksha, he is still not sarvaramba parityagi, but a sarvakarma phalatyagi. Wow, sarvakarma phalatyagi. One who performs actions dedicating them to Ishvara. One can only be a sarvaramba parityagi by giving up kartutva, which is possible only in the wake of jnana. However hard you may try, there is no method by which you can give up kartutva, because the karta is required to employ that method. Who is this sarvaramba parityagi? So mada bhaktaha, madbhaktaha. So madbhaktaha, he is my devotee. Madbhaktaha. Lord Krishna says, and he is me priyaha, my beloved, because he is myself, mama atma, and most beloved. If we take this relatively, the seeker who is not yet a jnani becomes the recipient of Ishvara's grace. I'll read this again. So madbhakta. So madbhaktaha, he is my devotee, Lord Krishna says, and he is me priyaha, my beloved, because he is myself, mama atma, the most beloved. If we take this relatively, the seeker who is not yet a jnani becomes the recipient of Ishvara's grace. Very nice. Which will pave the way for his gaining knowledge. All these qualities, which are so natural for a jnani, are sadhanas for the seeker. Further, he says,
Yo na hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktiman yah same priyah. Yah, he who na hrishyati, does not get elated, na dveshti, is not hostile, na shochati, does not grieve, na kankshati, does not desire. Yah shubha ashubha parityagi, the one who has completely given up good and bad karma. Bhaktiman, the one who has devotion. Saha me priyaha, he is beloved to me. Yah न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न कांक्षति शुभ अशुभ परित्यागी भक्तिमान सह मे प्रियः.
the one who does not get elated, is not hostile, does not grieve, does not desire, who has completely given up good and bad karma, who has devotion, is beloved to me. He is not elated or hostile. Ya na krishyati, the one who does not get elated when his desires are fulfilled. A jnani as only prarabdha karma, because his free will is consumed in the wake of knowledge. Prarabdha is threefold. Karma, which unfolds in the form of a desire in the mind of the person who initiates it, is ichcha prarabdha. If an action is prompted by a desire that arises not in his own mind but in someone else's, that is parecha prarabdha. Parecha prarabdha. Teaching and writing, for example, are often done only upon request. The result of such actions are sought not by the person who does them, but by the person who wants them done. The third type of prarabdha is desired neither by the person who experiences it nor by anyone else. It can be, but rarely, it is an ishta, desirable or pleasant. More often, it is not very pleasant, it is anishta, like disease. No one wishes it, but it happens anyway. When the jnani gains the desirable, he is not elated, na prishyati. And when something undesirable happens, he is not hostile, na dveshti. He does not suffer over or regret anything that happens. He does not grieve, nor does he wish for anything. When something very beloved to him is gone, he does not grieve, na sochati, recognizing that losses are a necessary part of creation. He does not suffer when things that are dear to him are taken away. In his vision, that is also part of the whole scheme of things. Losses occur every day. Somewhere, somebody is always mourning, but we often can you raise the page? Often do not recognize this unless we experience a great personal loss. The grief that follows such a loss also does not exist for the person being described here. He may have sympathy, but not grief. It is important to understand that Gita is not saying do not have grief. If there is grief, it must be acknowledged and processed, or you will develop psychological problems. But for the person spoken of here, Gita says there is no grief. It is a fact. Na kanchati. Na kankshati. He has a sense of enough. Alam pratyaya. Alam pratyaya. Alam pratyaya. He has a sense of enough. Alam pratyaya. The first thing that comes to a wise man when he is offered something is no. That is the nature of alam pratyaya. Therefore, the Lord says, he does not with or long for nakash kankshati, anything that he does not have. He has given up both.
Sorry, it is alam pratyaya.
Alam pratyaya. Alam pratyaya. So he does not wish or long for anything that he does not have. Alam pratyaya. He has given up both auspicious and inauspicious. Shubha Ashubha Parityagi is one who Parityagi is one who completely gives up. Wait. Who completely gives up what is auspicious and inauspicious. He does not accumulate Shubha karma, punya, much less Ashubha karma, papa. He will do a lot of punya karma. 1 minute. Like teaching, for example, but do not get Shubha, Ashubha. Wait. Whether, 1 minute. He does a lot of punya karma, like teaching, for example, but not to get punya. Whether he teaches because of parecha prarabdha or icha prarabdha, the Shubha Ashubha Parityagi does not perform action for the sake of punya. And nobody performs karma to get papa. But in the process of acquiring various things, they want people to do some papa karma. And nobody performs karma to get papa, but in the process of acquiring various things that they want, people do some papa karma. Okay. The wise man, however, has no reason to do papa karma because he has nothing to gain. And there is no reason to get punya because punya is for sukha. And in his vision, the sukha swarupa is himself. All punyas have resolved in his jnana. Therefore, he is Shubha Ashubha Parityagi. The second part I'll read. The wise man, however, has no reason to do papa karma because he has nothing to gain. That's understood. And there is no reason to get punya because punya is for sukha. And in his vision, the sukha swarupa is himself. So that is the key here. He is the sukha swarupa. All punyas have resolved in this jnana. Wow. Therefore, he is Shubha Ashubha Parityagi. Here, Bhaktiman, the one who has bhakti, is beloved to me. Same Priyaha, he is the Atma, myself. Read the next verse.
Yeah,
I
can
think we
someone
can
help to
stop for Manana maybe. Also, Sumaji, can you just read that thing where it talks of Prarabdha, Jnani's Prarabdha? That paragraph, please. And after that, maybe we can break for Manana.
Yeah, could you please let me know which? Here it is, the third type of prarabdha. He is not elated or hostile. Yeah.
He is not elated or hostile. Yeah, na krishyati, the one who does not get elated when his desires are fulfilled. A jnani has only prarabdha karma because his free will is consumed in the wake of knowledge. Prarabdha is threefold. Karma, which unfolds in the form of a desire in the mind of the person who initiates it, is Icha Prarabdha. If an action is prompted by a desire that arises not in his own mind, but in someone else's mind, that is Parecha Prarabdha. Teaching and writing, for example, are often done only upon request. The results of such actions are sought not by the person who does them, but by the person who wants them done. The third type of prarabdha is desired neither by the person who experiences it, nor by anyone else. It can be, but rarely, as it is in ishta, the desirable or pleasant. More often, it is not very pleasant. It is anishta, like disease. No one wishes wishes it, but it happens anyway. When the jnani gains the desirable, he is not elated, na hrishyati. And when something undesirable happens, he is not hostile, na dveshti. He does not suffer. He does not suffer over or regret anything that happens.
Sumaji, what was the first type of prarabdha?
Icha prarabdha, that it comes from the desire of the person who initiates the action.
Yeah, but the second one is what you talked about was the
parecha prarabdha, that somebody
that
else
is the
wants
same
you to
as
do.
no, but that's the same thing as the first one you talked about just now, right?
No. Like if I want to read a book or write a commentary, that's a desire that's coming up in me, so I do it. But
No,
someone else comes and
do
tells
you
me.
mind just reading that one more time? Because I couldn't make out the difference between the first and the second types of prarabdha. Because they said jnani has there are three types of prarabdha, right?
Yeah, but it's not for jnani. It is for anybody who has prarabdha karma. It is three types. But for a jnani, his icha is gone, no? Because his icha is the will of God. So he has no, what is that? Icha prarabdha. Whereas somebody else.
He'll act only paricha.
Huh?
The beginning of the paragraph said
I'll read
jnani
again.
has only, just read that again. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So he is not elated or hostile. So jnani here na hrishyati, the one who does not get elated when his desires are fulfilled. A jnani has only prarabdha karma because his free will is consumed in the wake of knowledge. So he does not make any choices, right? His free will is consumed because he is just existence himself. But yet he has a prarabdha karma of that body. That body must complete its that karma of the body. So that is there, he has that. Then he says prarabdha karma is threefold. Karma which unfolds in the form of a desire in the mind of the person who initiates it. It is icha prarabdha. So this can happen in everybody. I want something, so I initiate an action. So that is icha prarabdha. If an action is prompted by the desire that arises not in his own mind, but in someone else's, that is parecha prarabdha.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah.
Teaching, writing, for example, often done upon request. So the result of that actions are sought not by the person who does them, but by the person who wants them done. Then the third type of prarabdha.
Yeah, go ahead.
Third type of prarabdha is something that is not desired by anybody, but it anyway happens. That he says that like the disease. It is very rarely a pleasant or ishta, desirable. It is usually more often very unpleasant, the third type of prarabdha. It is the anishta prarabdha, which is something like a disease. Nobody wishes to have disease, but it anyway happens. When the jnani gains the desirable, he is not elated, na hrishyati, and when something undesirable happens, he is not hostile, na dveshti. He does not suffer over or regret anything that happens. I'm reminded of Ramana Maharshi only here in this as an example.
The second type of prarabdha that the jnani goes through, that is that paricha prarabdha. Yeah, Gurudev says, he says, okay, now for question answers, unless you ask questions, I will not be able to. So the question, the need to get the answer should come from the other person. That is one. And second,
even Swamiji, if he's written all of this, or he's given all of this, is because there were the students probably who wanted to know about Bhagavad Gita. So it becomes a parecha prarabdha for them. So they're not accruing any more karma. They're only exhausting their prarabdha. So ichcha prarabdha, parecha prarabdha, and what is the third type called in Sanskrit? Anishta
Ishta or Anishta Prarabdha. Ishta Prarabdha or Anishta Prarabdha. Something that happens which is very pleasant, or something that happens which is not pleasant.
Yeah. Like exactly with what happened to Ramana Maharshi and the disease that they, and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. I'm reminded also of the story that the incident where in Africa or so, there was one person who wanted to give a packet of tea to Gurudev, and he goes to his assistant, the secretary's room to search for that Gurudev, and it was because that ichcha prarabdha, parecha prarabdha was there. Therefore, he went around searching for that tea bag till he found it. Yeah, that's fine.
And also, I think the first kind of prarabdha, he uses his free will for, self-inquiry only. This is what it's said, right? The first prarabdha also, his free will he uses for jnana for himself only. Something like that.
No. I didn't understand like that. He says, because his free will is consumed in the wake of knowledge. That means the minute he knows that there is only one, that knowledge, then where is the question of his free will coming in?
So can you repeat that again, please? Can you please repeat that again, what you said?
Yeah, he says the prarabdha karma is, he does not have, a jnani has only prarabdha karma. Because his free will is consumed in the wake of knowledge. So the minute he experiences or he recognizes that he is the Atma, so when he gets that knowledge, then there is no free will, there is only one will.
Like he's not making further karmas, he's not having further karmas.
He is not building knowledge anymore.
Yeah, he's only having prarabdha karma.
Yeah, yes.
And this parecha prarabdha is of the Swamiji who have written this book. It is his parecha prarabdha that he went into writing this, right?
That's what Dr. Brahmara also said. Some student must have asked, so he wrote this. So we got.
And that its karma phala goes to the person who is asking him to help or asking the questions.
Yeah.
I'll just quickly read the shloka which we did today. Action. Okay. Yasmanno dvijate loko lokanno dvijate chayah harshamarchabhayvegaihi mukta ya sachame priyah. The one because of whom people do not get disturbed, and who does not get disturbed by people, and who is free from elation, intolerance, fear, and anxiety, is beloved to me. Anapeksha shuchir daksha udasino gatavyatha Sarvarambha parityagi yo madbhakta same priyaha. The one who has no dependence, is clean, is able and neutral, from whom fear has gone, who has completely given up all initiations of actions, and who is my devotee, is beloved to me. I think that was the last, right? Yo na rishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktimanya same priyaha. The one who does not get elated, is not hostile, does not grieve, does not desire, who has completely given up good and bad karma, who has devotion, is beloved to me. Kindly share your takeaways. I think we are already running.
One question I have, Nakangshiti, like how is it related? Can anyone, Dr. Brahmra or anyone, can explain Nakangshiti? It is related to how? And he does not wish or long for what? He's already a jnani, so what is he longing for? He does not
He's
wish
not
or
longing for anything. He does not have any desire of his own.
So already he's a jnani. Why, like it's mentioned like Nakangshiti? His
So
desires were
once he
all.
recognizes, this is my understanding, once he recognizes that he is the Atma, then that is how who we describe as jnani. Then he has no separate desire from
He
other
has
than
no
what.
desire to initiate any action, no?
Yeah.
That the kankshati. I think in that paragraph it was mentioned, in order to start something, you need to have a desire. But his free will is completely resolved, so to say, in his knowledge. So he's only led by his prarabdha karma.
Yeah,
Guided
he
by
is
that.
Sarvarambha Parityagi. He
Yeah,
does not start.
sarvarambha parityag.
Actually, this line, the first thing that comes to a wise man when he's offered something is no. I was thinking over this. Alam pratyaya.
So probably like you offer him money or jewels and all that. I am thinking like that.
Yeah, because
Some
he's
gift
complete in
he doesn't
himself. No?
need.
He does not need
Ah.
anything to complete himself or to give him joy. He is joy.
Okay.
I think it also means he renounces all good and evil actions of others also. He holds no grudge against anybody. So what we call so-called wrongdoing that somebody has done to you or anybody else in your vicinity, he renounces even that. He just does not hold on to good and evil, right or wrong. So therefore, he neither rejoices nor hates anything, nor grieves over anything.
I think if all of us agree, we'll go through these last few shlokas one more time tomorrow. So we have a clear understanding. And any doubts that we have, like we had today, we can put them down and get them clarified.
Yes, please.
Because again and again, these are all the benchmarks for us as sadhaks. These are all the virtues of a jnani that are like guidelines for us.
It's our sadhana.
Our sadhana. Sadhakasya lakshana, no. Siddhasya
Jnani's lakshana.
Jnani's lakshanas are sadhakasya sadhanani.
So when it was read that he neither hurts nor is hostile to creation, that was very beautiful.
I mean, every sentence of these last few verses is so pregnant with meaning. And there's so many there's a lot of new understanding. Like yesterday or day before, we learned about the Hridaya Granthi. And then today we learned about the different kinds of prarabdha, why we do what we do, why the Siddha behaves the way he behaves. Is because he's guided by that parecha prarabdha, ichha prarabdha, as well as the anishta prarabdha. Someone might say, oh, how come Gurudev is coughing, or how come Gurudev has got fever, or he is sick? For instance, I mean, but that this is one of the reasons. There are some people who have this, they do Vitanda Vadana, right? They say, oh, if he's enlightened, he's beyond this. How can Ramana Maharshi have illness? So this is the understanding. This is the reason why.
Yeah. And one misconception about being on the spiritual path. I also realized this because we kind of tell people, oh, you do your sadhana, your meditation, you will never fall sick, you will never get any disease, all that. That's a misconception. That should not
that
be
is
like
wrong
that.
marketing. It's wrong
Yeah.
marketing because if the body has its own dharma, no? It is not invincible. It is not immortal. So it has to go down some way, and it's through
The
disease or
environment has an effect
debilitation.
on the body.
Yeah, of course. And then we start feeling bad. Oh, maybe my sadhana is not up to the mark, or maybe I'm doing something. Of course, there's a
Yeah.
reason why you felt sick, but that is the body's nature, and it's you take it along with you. You don't get so unduly disturbed by that. Because I know when some of our swamis, let's not take names and all that, but when he was he was ill and then he passed on, there were a lot of questions raised. Oh, how come the body has a death. We all are born with a date of death. When the time that the date of birth comes with the date of death, it's just that we don't know when it is. And how that happens, when that happens, is governed by the prarabdha. So that is not in our hands at all. So we just take it as it comes and not get flustered by it.
I feel the way to look at it is that the asanas, all that we perform, are for the servicing of the internal organs of the body. The stretches, rotations is for the external part of the body. So all that we do, that is simply the servicing of the body. But at a point of time, say in a machinery, there is a metallic rod. The metallic rod, because of the friction, because of continuous usage, it becomes thin and it wears out and it needs to be replaced. Similarly, the body dies down and it needs to be replaced by another body or whatever. Even your hip joint or your knee replacement or whatever you look at it is because of the wear and tear in the body over a period of time. So we are servicing it. We are keeping ourselves flexible with all our asanas. So we are servicing the body internally and externally. But due to age, when the body part wears out, then that gets to be replaced or it dies out as the body dies. And as you rightly said, there is a date written on every this thing, every body. Every body has to come into this world and go away. Jai Gurudev.
I feel we should repeat these shlokas tomorrow once again. Let's go through today's whole thing on our own and then be more prepared for tomorrow to go through the session again. Jai Guru.
So shall we wind up today's session here? Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.